What's up, duelists? We are here with the RBT Denver Tailgate. Just sharing that I'm live, and then we'll be underway. What's up, duelists? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. What's up, Chris Flores? What's up, Nova? What's up, Skug? Early today, yeah. What's up, Foxy? We are locking in. What's up, Gage? How are you doing? So, tomorrow is the Pro Play Summit where RBET will be taking place. Not tomorrow, sorry. Saturday, RBET will be taking place, and then there will be another RBET on Sunday. If you guys still want to come to this in Denver, it's this weekend. Sign up in the description below. You can find the link in the description below. It's going to be super hype. It's going to be a really big Edison tournament, if you will. Sad you couldn't make it, but hope it's a good weekend. Me too. I hope it's a good weekend. I've been like killing myself over the prizing, the mats, but they're there. My bad, Peacock. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I just misspoke. What's up, Enrique? How you doing? So, this is the deck that I played in a video yesterday, and it felt very fun. The mat looks sick. It's my first attempt at it, so I like it. I think it came out okay. The next attempts will obviously improve, but yeah. Said no wolves, 2 phoenix blades. Oh yeah, I had 1 wolf over a phoenix blade in yesterday's build, but I think you could maybe make an argument for like slightly different stuff here and there. I really like phoenix blade. I think it's super good. But in today's stream, it's all about RBT Denver. So we'll talk predictions. We'll play some games. I was gonna build a deck while we were chilling, but let's get this RBT Denver Tailgate. So, RBT Denver is all about, I don't know what people in Denver play. I don't know what decks they play. That's like crazy to me. Like, I don't know anything about the meta there. You think gadgets? Gadgets have done well at every event. Let's switch this to Edison. Plants. Gadgets and plants have been kind of the story of this year, to a degree. Yeah, of course, Nova. Just stop by the commentary booth or whatever. I'll take a look. What up? Am I playing at Legacy Duelist Series? I am, actually. What's up, Bradley Williams? How you doing? I am playing at the Legacy Duelist Series. Someone like Carbonella Warrior? No, it's cool. I actually, a buddy of mine who helped me with the mats had an extra end, so he let me have it, which is really cool. So, yeah. I'm playing at Legacy Duelist Series. I don't know what deck I'm playing. I have like maybe 10 days total that I can test for that tournament, so I'm under a lot of crunch the next few months because I've got 3 RBETs and then I've got a lot of other work stuff. But October is usually my busiest month of the year. Am I playing meta? I don't know what you mean by that. I literally just said I don't know what I'm playing, but I also don't know what you mean by meta, because meta could mean gadgets. You know what I mean? It could mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm playing yet. The only deck I've tested so far is Hybrid Blackwings. That's the only deck I've tested so far. Yeah, it's going to be sick, Peacock. It's going to be really cool to meet you as well. But yeah, the only deck I've been able to test is hybrid Blackwings, so pull up with fairies. I've already topped 2 tournaments with fairies this year. I'm trying to get like a wide range. But I might. Depends. I might play one of the days with fairies. Because there's 2 days, right? Thank you, Mr. Peacock. I'll see you this weekend. Fish control? That's not a thing. That's like not a deck that people play. You're hyped? I'm hyped for you as well, Joe. It should be fun. What deck are you playing? Just kidding. Don't leak it. But no, good luck in your bracket, and hope it goes well for you. It's gonna be a fun one. I think this weekend's gonna be really cool. I think we're gonna see some boys out here. I think we're gonna see some real heads show up. You know. Denver's gonna be an interesting one. I'm excited. I think it has a lot of guaranteed is cool. Yeah, the guaranteed is really cool. PPG is awesome, dude. I've had 2 really good experiences with PPG so far. So, I attended their summit in Texas, and I had a really good time there playing in those tournaments. And obviously, the one at Level Up Expo went really well. So, the RBET at Las Vegas that they co-hosted with me. And so I'm very excited for Denver. I think it's going to be one of the best events of the year, for sure. What's up, Tim? How are you doing? What is the status on Genesis? Genesis is, you can sign up for it. That's the status. Signups are open. There should be a link in the description. If not, I need to update that. But there is a link in most of the descriptions on the videos. I'll update it after I'm off stream for this stream if it's not there. But I believe you can like just find it by checking their social medias. They have a link, and then you can sign up for it. Yeah, as far as I know, that's what's up for Genesis. What were we talking about? Oh, decks. Yeah, that's right. So, what won the last RBT? What was the last RBT? Santa Clara? It was Blackwings, right? Oh, it was Blackwings won Santa Clara. Yeah, okay. Well, Blackwings is a good deck. I think we can expect some amount of Value Turbo. I don't know how much, but some amount. When we have an RBE in Mexico, JK? Maybe not JK. I actually would love to do one in Mexico. I think it's been difficult this year, but possibly next year, Enrique. Possibly next year. I think it'd be really fun. This weekend for Denver, Bradley, day 1 will be top 16 get a mat, and day 2 top 8 get a mat. Nova says, with more TOs hosting Edison, do you plan to play more? I have been playing more. I don't have infinite weekends of the year to dedicate to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I do, have to maintain my life. But I would like to play more because I think it makes for better content, and it makes sure that I'm like staying competitively minded. Like I always try to stay at least a little competitively minded. I think Valhalla Fairies is insane into this field, by the way. I think it's very good against all these decks. I think that you have, if you can beat, oh man, this is so tough. I think Judgment Dragon decks are interestingly positioned. Like Twilight, I think Twilight is really well positioned. Vespertine says Dream Frogs will win RBT Denver. Will it? I don't know, man. Maybe. The Light and Darkness. They play Light and Darkness Dragon, right? Maybe. My speculation is Heroes will also be very popular. You put more time into recently, and the issues are definitely still problematic. I don't know what you mean. I have not had issues with that deck. It is the one deck in the format where I just don't have issues. I feel like I just win every match when I play that deck, if I'm not misplaying. It's the one deck where I'm like, I feel like I can just win every game. Did you play my list, Tim? If you didn't play my list, then it changes it a lot. Every deck has to have problems, though, right? Not every deck. I don't think Blackwings has problems. I think Blackwings is a deck with no problems. And that's how I feel about Valhalla and Blackwings. Like, in my like personal like tier list in my head, I have Blackwings and Valhalla as tier 1 right now. And then I have heroes actually really high as well, like Diva Hero. Gladiator Beast or Hero Beat, I think those are like lower tier decks, but I know there's a good Gladiator Beast player playing, so. You hope that people will go with other decks other than Blackwings? They might. But like in my like testing, like in my personal testing, the decks that consistently do the best are Blackwings and Valhalla Fairies and heroes, actually. Diva Hero. Those are the 3 decks that like do consistently the best in my testing. I've also had some success with the dragon deck, the equip dragon deck, but I don't know if I'm gonna play it for LDS. I might. Frogs. I don't think Frogs is like in my head, in my mind. I don't think Frogs is a tier 1 deck, and when I'm actually playing it, it doesn't feel like a tier 1 deck. But yeah, I also like play the game differently than a lot of other people. Frogs is here, by the way. Someone said Dream Frog, so I put Lad, but I guess we should put like Treeborn or something. There we go. So it's less confusing. Like these 3 decks, I feel like I have insane win rates with heroes. Maybe less so Diva Hero, more so. I don't know. Maybe Heroes is a little bit wrong. Heroes is definitely worse than Valhalla and Blackwings. It's definitely worse. Resolving Tethius 2+ times feels better than Dire Priority. Resolving Christia feels like I'm playing the best deck in the format. So if you can resolve a Christia, that should be like very high up on your list of things to be looking at. I feel like all these other decks have problems. Like I struggle with consistency issues, especially like I know people really like Vayu Turbo and Diva Hero. I have like weird consistency issues with these 2 decks in particular. That they're weird consistency issues that I don't have with Valhalla and Blackwings. I feel like when I play Blackwings, I just don't have weird consistency issues. The deck just feels very good every single time I play it. Resolving Defusion after Gorge with an absolute 0 feels very good. Yeah, resolving any amount of like absolute 0 shenanigans feels very good. And the same thing is true for Vayu Turbo. Resolving Burial and Return feels very good. But if you don't get to that point, that's the problem. You're not like great out of the gate. And I guess there is Gigaplant, which has been doing some numbers here and there. I don't know. It hasn't topped RBET yet, so I'm like really hesitant. I was very high on it at the beginning of the year, and then it turns out people didn't really pick it up as much, so. Dragon Turbo's fallen off, but can still stomp. It will always have a bad Blackwing matchup, and with more and more main deck viruses in the Vayu Turbo decks, then. Will you do a Deck Doctor stream vid? Yes. In the future, White Zero, I will do that in the future. Stay tuned. There's 3 total people who know how to side with Gigavice. Side decking is just a matter of knowing what you're bringing in and bringing out in certain matchups. So anyone can figure it out. It just, they have to put in the time, right? For Denver, I don't know what's gonna win. I actually don't know what people. I don't even know who's going to Denver. Like, I know Enraged Peacock is going, so he might be playing heroes. Sora, that deck sucks. Sorry. Yeah, it's like very glass cannon. When you play against someone who knows how to play, it's very, very weak. When you play against people who don't know how to play, it seems really good. It's like a noob stomper, I guess. But there are other decks that are noob stompers, like Blackwings. I hard disagree, Tim. Like, I could not disagree more with that take. Like, I think that there's no evidence for that. Like, zero evidence for that. Like, the fact alone that the deck, like, yeah, but like, you could, that is a very personal, like, I can say, like, I played Valhalla Fairies at a tournament and I went 8-1. Right? That's an even better record than yours, right? I played Valhalla Fairies, which is not a real deck. It's not a deck that people play, right? And I went 8-1 at a tournament. What does that mean? Does that mean, like, does that mean it's the best deck in the format? No. That's just, like, one day of, like, playing. Like, there are more major tops with Valhalla Fairies than there are with Frog Combo. So, like, there's more evidence. I'm not even saying they're tier 1. I'm saying in my own personal, like, experience playing the format, they're tier 1. But I'm not saying, like, I would rank them for Denver or whatever. You're not saying it is, you're saying it could be. I completely disagree. I don't think that deck could ever be tier 1 because it can be hated out so easily. It's so fragile. It's like such a glass cannon deck. Like, if that deck were to ever, like, take any sort of dominance in meta share, the side deck cards are so good against that deck. They're so fucking good. Like, they make it impossible to even play. Like, that's what the deck is like. It has a strong game 1, and then game 2 and game 3, they have to, like, side, like, fucking weird shit just because they get owned by every side deck card in the format. It's like, I don't know how to say it. You have a really bad game 2 and game 3. And that's the issue. Like, you can't just base things off of game 1s or, like, playing against inexperienced people. Because the format is best 2 out of 3. Can we agree it's the best game 1 deck in the format at least then? No, I still think Norlaris is probably the best game 1 deck in the format. Because Norlaris can do the thing turn 1, and it does it with about the same frequency. Like, and that's, like, just from my personal testing, and from, like, playing with other people and stuff like that, and, like, playing against the decks in our testing groups and stuff like that. Tiva Fish OTK went undefeated in YCS Anaheim 9 months ago. It was just a different deck. I don't know what you mean. It was just I don't know what that means. I just don't think you can have a tier 1 deck that gets hated out really easily. That's, like, the problem. And, like, the most resilient deck in the format, if we want to talk about the most resilient deck in the format, it's Blackwings. It is the hardest deck to hate out, by far. It's the most resilient. Like, that, Blackwings, or, like, fairies, or maybe plants or machines are really resilient. Machines, actually, no, not that resilient. Plants is really resilient. But, like, if we're talking about, like, stuff that's going to be a really good deck to play long-term at a bunch of different tournaments, that'll get you a bunch of different results, that'll consistently get you where you want to go, it's probably amongst those 3. Frogs is also, like, Frog Hero is pretty consistent. Vayu Turbo is pretty consistent. Vioturbo and Frog Hero and plants have more consistency issues than like I'd say Valhalla Fairies or like Blackwings, but they're really consistent decks and they're more resilient to things. Like Frog Hero is so resilient. Like it's much harder to hate out Frog Hero than it is to hate out Frog Combo. And that's kind of how I felt about Gigaplant too. But Gigaplant is an FDK, so it just gets wins going first, which makes it scarier, I guess. How do you solve the game 1 issues with DDV for Valhalla Fairies? You don't know how to fix that? Purple Light, I guess. Just play. First off, you should be probably... Well, if you're on my list, which I don't remember if I have on here, but let me check and see if I have it. This is a super tangent from what we were talking about, but if you're on my list, which you probably should be. Hold on, let me see if I have it. I think this might be it. You have 2 Decree and you have Purple Herald, and you can play more Purple Herald. This was the list I got second with at EFC. But you can play more Purple. You could easily play 2 or 3 Purple Herald and it's probably fine. Like, there's a lot of tech in this deck that could be more Purple Heralds. And then the sideboard, you basically get to put whatever you want. But you just have more counters to DDV main deck than they have DDV's main deck, and they have to do a lot of work to make DDV live. If you think about like what it takes to make DDV live, it's like, yes, normal summon Sirocco is the easiest way, right? But they can't do that turn 1. So it gives you an opportunity to set Decree. You always have an opportunity to get your Decree or your Typhoon or your Purple Lights or whatever. You always have an opportunity to interact with DDV. And you have more ways to interact with it than they have ways of resolving it. The worst case scenario for you with regards to DDV is going to be like games where you get dust shooted into DDV. But that's more an issue with dust shoot than DDV itself. And once again, Decree is good there. That's going to be your biggest issue though. As far as bouncing back from it, you've got 3 Christia, 3 Valhalla, you got Tethius, you've got Freed, and you could also just make sure and stick an Alchemist first, so they're forced to do a Chainlink 2, or you could do stuff like, I don't know, you get the idea. You think that was really creative and strong? I don't know about that. I disagree. I also think that tournament is fraudulent due to the pay-to-win mechanics. And that drastically improves combo deck chances. And once again, like, if we're looking at isolated results, we can talk about Valhalla Fairies getting top 8 at an Ultimate Time. We could talk about that all day, but we could talk about regular Fairies getting top 8 at stuff. We could talk about my personal results with stuff. But we're not talking isolated results. We're talking about, like, resilience and, like, actual tier listing shit. Then I would say then it's you pretty clearly cannot put it tier 1. Like, if you were just, like, tier listing stuff. Purple Gerald. You can pay to see people's replays. It's like insane. It's like scouting behind a paywall. It's like kind of not a vibe. Why do you think Northerners has fallen off? Lack of pilots? That's 100% it. If something has fallen off, it's just lack of pilots. Everyone can see everyone's replays. That's even worse. Open list is even worse. Open list changes the game entirely. And there is also pay to see other people's replays. It's worse, but it's not pay to win. It is. You pay and you get access to a certain player's replays. So like, let's say they're playing a deck that they've been practicing through the site, right? You can pay the subscription fee or whatever the fuck it is that they have there, the weird model that they have there. And then you get access to all that player's replays, not just the tournament ones. So you can go through and see what he was testing. It's like weird. It's like not a vibe. I'm not a fan of that. It is definitely a pay to win mechanic. Open replays is fucking insane. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. Yeah, it's like any tournament that has like that type of shit should just not be taken seriously. Like it's just like so much of Yu-Gi-Oh is information. Do you know how much Purple Gerald is the GOAT? Pudding gets it. Pudding has been putting in the hours. He's been putting in the hours. Get it? Ha ha ha. No, he's been putting in the hours with Purple Herald. He gets it. It's kind of dumb, but it puts everyone on an equal playing field. I don't know how to make this clear to people because I had this conversation on Twitter the other day, but like it's very frustrating when someone's like, this person got scouted, so it sucks for them, right? It sucks for them. What if we made it suck for everyone so nobody has a good tournament? Like, what if we made it worse for everyone? Do you understand? Like, that's just not how you should do things. You shouldn't make the default worse. Like, you shouldn't make the default player experience worse. Yeah, sure, you're going to get scouted as the tournament goes on, no matter what tournament you're in, paper, whatever. It doesn't matter. And that barely happens. People, like, overplay scouting so much. But if everyone's shit is fucking public, that just makes it bad for everyone up front. It's like, why are we making it worse for everyone just to call it equal? Like, it happens more online. Sure, maybe it's easier online, but who knows? You know what I mean? It just happened to you at one of the peaks. Opponent looked at your list and knew the only trap I played was Tretch. There you go. And instantly your deck is like instantly your strategy gets invalidated. It's so stupid. It completely invalidates innovation. Exactly. Rodrigo gets it. Yeah. It like completely invalidates the tournament. Like so much of Yu-Gi-Oh is information. So much is knowing what you need to play around. That's like is a large percentage of the gameplay. You take that out of the gameplay, all of a sudden you're just playing a different game. It like doesn't count, in my opinion. Yeah, there you go. You get it. Pudding gets it. He understands. There's only one way to play this game, and it's with closed lists and not public replays and not pay to win mechanics. If you're playing in a tournament like that, it's just invalid. And it sucks because a lot of people do play in those tournaments. And it says online tournaments have a lot of flaws. Like you can get advice from your friends while you're playing, etc. Yeah, but that's like saying like, oh, one person is getting coached. We should pay to have everyone be coached. Instead of saying like, people can get coached, but most people aren't doing it. So it's fine. You had no idea that was a thing. Well, now you know. Now you know. It's like you're saying like, oh, this experience is worse for one person. Let's make it worse for everybody. Why do that? Like, that just doesn't make sense. It's like so stupid. It's totally from like you love it from when people from all over the world can play. I like that too. I do like that. I think there's a lot of benefits to online tournaments. Online tournaments are how RBET started. You know what I mean? Like, for sure. But I think you have to do the tournaments right. Like, you can't make the tournaments like whack. I don't know how to say it. Like, it sucks because like, okay, let's say you play in a tournament and then replays are public and I look at my opponent's deck and I know he has Treacherous Trap Hole. We're using a real example right now. We're using Pudding's example. I know he has Treacherous Trap Hole. Am I beating my opponent? Am I really beating him? Or am I just fucking like, you get what I'm saying? Saying if they don't do public replays, it's just friends reaching out to friends for replays. It's just gross either way, in your opinion. Exactly. It's just, online tournaments just suck. Like, that's just like the end of it. But at least when it's not public replays, most people are going to have a normal tournament experience. Most people. And like, sure, there may be like groups of people who get scouted, whatever, that sucks. That's just the nature of it. Yeah, public replays, it's making it worse for everybody instead of just worse for random people. It's like, okay, well, now it just sucks for everyone. And so why do it? And I think that that's a big part of like why people don't like those tournaments. from what I hear, from what I talk to a lot of people, obviously, because I'm constantly at RBTs, constantly talking to people, whatever. A large part of the reason why people don't like those tournaments is because they come into it from a very anti-player perspective, in my opinion. Not just in my opinion, but in the opinion of like people who have talked to me about this. So it's like weird. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like this thing where it's like, how do you say it? Let's say instead of creating a system where like you have to lock in your deck to it and your deck can't change, like with physical reads, it does take that away as well. Yeah, body language reads are very big. Pudding gets it. But let's say Dueling Book were to implement something where it's like you lock your deck in and then that is the only deck you could play for the duration of this tournament or whatever. Or Dueling Book had a way where you could orchestrate a tournament bracket through the site. Theoretically, right? This would be the best way to do it because then you could have not public replays and then you could have that information concealed until the finals. Or you could like, because the deck would be locked in and you couldn't guarantee that someone was cheating. You know what I mean? Or if there was a way for like tournament organization to have access to the back end of things, they could tell people aren't cheating or whatever, and then we could make replays not public. That's the best way to do it. The second best way to do it is to just accept that scouting is going to happen at some level. That is the closest to like a real tournament that you're going to get. Playing online is convenient. It's very convenient. It's also a great practice tool. And like, I know people will argue like I would rather everyone know the information, but usually those are the people who are either playing an incredibly linear strategy or those are the people who are not as good at like making reads. They're the people who also don't like to brew their own decks. They just like play the same shit over and over and over again. Or they're the hyper competitive people who will compete no matter how shitty the rule set is. So it's not really like there's a very small subset of people that care about this, but it's large enough to where it will impact tournament attendance. Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, that's my two pieces on public lists. I actually hate it. I know that there's talks of it happening at some level of competitive play in Pokemon, and there was a big discourse about it on Twitter. I personally hate public lists. I think public lists disincentivizes. I don't know if that's a word. De-incentivizes. It is nice for people, and yeah, totally. Pokemon does it for VGC. That's a little different because it's team preview, I believe, and item preview. Oh, it's full team spreadsheets. That's not good. I don't know if I like that. You know all the moves, Terra types? Ew. Where's my favorite physical card / specific rarity? A secret rare Jinzo has always been one I've really liked. Secret rare Jinzo, and I like secret rares. I think they look very nice. They sparkle really well. I didn't know you knew all the moves in the Terra types. I thought it was just team preview. No one will run tech cards if they're instantly public. Exactly. That's why it's like, and also, dude, knowing what your opponent's sideboards, do you know how good that is? That's fucking OP. That's so broken. Like, oh, I know what my opponent's sideboard's against me, so I can just instantly counter side. It's like there's no strategy there. There's no strategy. It's just like I know what he has, and so I can instantly counter it. It's like there's no information game at all. There's no skill testing when playing through back row and shit. You have Merchant revealing your whole deck in your replays. Yeah, because, dude, Tim, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not saying Monster Mash is linear. I think it's a very a-linear deck. But it's a deck where information doesn't matter because you're not playing back row. So you're incentivized to play that type of deck in a game with this style of open stuff. MTG has done this at some levels of their pro play before. Pros tend to like it. You personally dislike it, but you think there are definitely pros and cons. So I actually have a comment on this, Justice, right? Because Magic does this, but they don't show the number of cards included. So, like, they just show cards included. So they won't show, like, how much of Basic Swamp is in the deck or how much of Thoughtseize is in the deck. So there's a level there that doesn't show people the exact configuration. They may not know if it's 1 Planeswalker or 7 Planeswalkers. You know what I mean? And on top of that, I still think it's bad. On top of that, I still think it's very bad. The reason Magic does it is to make commentary easier and to, like, once again, level the playing field, but I just think it's so stupid. It just ruins the game. Would you ruin the game to level the playing field? It's not worth it. It's not worth it to ruin the game to level the playing field. They've done both quantity known and unknown. Yeah, I think it just ruins deck building. It ruins creative people's, like, incentive to play in the tournament and show off something new. And to reinforce my point, while this is very, very small sample size, look at the type of innovation you see in RBETs versus the type of innovation you see in tournaments where it's open list. There's very little innovation done. There's very little text used in tournaments where it's open list compared to RBETs. RBETs is where all of the fresh stuff breaks out. That's where all of the decks, like, or Ultimate Time Wizards, because they're also closed list, is where a lot of fresh stuff breaks out. Like, could you imagine? So recently there was, like, that dupeless Hero Frog deck. Could you imagine trying to play that in a tournament where your opponent just knows you don't have Dupe Frogs in your deck? No. Like, that would instantly ruin the strategy, and it would instantly make it harder for you to, like, get to the end result. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know how to say it. It just, like, changes everything, man. It just, like, it makes it so you can never change your deck. It makes it so you can never. They tried to keep the list private. They did a good job. They did a good job of keeping it very secret. And then they didn't even release it for a couple of tournaments. I think, like, as far as, like, keeping it from going wide. Yeah, exactly. But keeping it from going wide, like, they did a pretty good job. Like, it's rare that someone is working on something. I was talking about Valhalla Fairies, like, you have stock in it. No, I just think the deck is good. Like, if I'm going to a tournament, it is one of the top 2 decks I would consider to win the tournament. Is Valhalla and Blackwings. Right now. You think it incentives different skill sets and isn't strictly worse? No, it is strictly worse. For Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially, it is strictly worse. For Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially. I can't speak on Magic because I haven't played competitive Magic since, I think, 2014. So I don't know how different the game of Magic is now. I don't know how much, like, player agency there is in Magic as compared to what there was in before. But the last time I played Magic, there was a card I was playing called Chalice of the Void. I don't know if you guys know this card. And Chalice of the Void is a really, really good card. It says when you play it, you counter every card that has the mana cost of the cost of Chalice of the Void. And you can choose what to put it on. You can choose how many counters to put it on. So if I know my opponent's deck has, like, 15 cards that cost 2 mana, I'll just put this on 2 and then I just win. Do you get what I'm saying? If I know my opponent's deck, this card becomes insane. The floodgates get insanely good. How about Top Cut? Yeah, no, there's still, like, people will still bring spice because people are still, like, you know, at the end of the day, they want to play what they want to play. But all of these decks that you've listed have been seen before in RBET. Also, Machina Hero is a pretty uncompetitive deck, in my opinion. Yeah. And Frog Monarch has been one of the most popular decks in top cuts of RBET this season, actually. It has almost as many results as Gadgets, if I remember correctly. And Gadgets has been really breakout. But I'm talking about, like, Um, I'm talking about like real innovations happen at RBET because the information can be concealed. And it's like you actually have to play the game on every level instead of just playing the game on like knowing what your opponent can do. It is a really different game. Like imagine every game I've Noblemen of Cross-outed you and seen your deck. That it's just starting with that information is so big, dude. It's so big. Like I don't even know. Yeah, so this year I've played in a lot of tournaments, right? And two of the decks that I haven't lost to yet in tournament is Machina Hero or Forks. I've not lost to either of us. Even saying that word is gross. But like the Frog combo deck, I've not lost to that deck, and I've not lost to the Machina Hero deck. I am of the opinion that those decks are not very good. They're too fragile, and they're too linear, and they're too easy to counter, and they don't have play any. I don't say Machina Hero does play some level of defense. Absolute Zero is obviously a good card, but like your opening plays all get rugged, and then you're just like fuck, and then you lose. And like you have a lot of normal summons that are really low quality, like Ocean and Prisma. Those are really low quality. Frog combo is only a threat if you're playing in a Euro or online tourney. I don't even think they're a threat there. Like you just sideboard accordingly, and that should beat the deck. If you sideboard for the deck, like they really do struggle. They don't play the Frog combo a lot. No, they do. They actually do. A lot of them enter RBT every time, and none of them top. I think it has 2 tops ever, and one of the tops was obviously one who was playing a different list than like the one that everyone plays, and his list was very good. It was the triple Chopstone list. I thought that list was like the best version of the deck I've ever seen. But a lot of people play that deck. It is a very popular deck on entry, and it just never converts. It doesn't help that the deck gets fried by a lot of hate cards. Trapstone, this card. He was playing 3 of this. His list is very good. It's from RBT Vegas. You don't like to acknowledge. No, I just don't acknowledge them because they're open list. It's like not a real tournament, in my opinion. If they were not open list, I would acknowledge them. Straight up. Even though I heavily dislike the owner of that site and do not fuck with the energy in that server, I would acknowledge the tournaments if they weren't open lists. It's the same thing in Pokemon too. There's a site called Limitless where you can play in these tournaments, right? They're online tournaments ran through a site, and it's almost identical, right? But the lists are open. And I've played in a few of the tournaments, and let me tell you, playing open list in those tournaments is like awful. It is so much worse than playing closed list. And most of like the top players disregard tournaments that happen on that site because they are open list. And Pokemon is a much bigger game, so you can see how it scales a certain way. Pokemon's even more interesting because like you can make a game plan. Limitless judges are really bad too. I've never had an experience with one of their judges, but it's possible. It's different. It's even worse in Pokemon because you can make a game plan for someone's entire deck, but you can absolutely do that in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like that's like definitely something that you can do if you know your opponent's deck. It just makes it worse. It makes the game worse. You think it's insane but too complicated to play? I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I reject that concept. I don't think it's too complicated to play. A lot of the top players have entered RBETs with it, and none of them do well. The only one who's had results is one, like I said. But he's playing a vastly different list. I don't think it's a complication issue. I think it's a glass cannon issue where the deck has no defense game 1. If you just don't see your combo, you just die. The same thing with like game 2 and game 3 is like if you are forced to dilute your combo and your opponent just has a strong proactive draw and you're like sitting there with like a Regeki break and you're just like, well, fuck me, I lose. Like that's pretty much it. Like the second your opponent knows what you're on, they can just like put their entire hand into play and cook you. Same thing with like it's really weak to DDV, and the most popular decks are main decking DDV right now. So that's another issue. It's just a glass cannon issue. I completely disagree on this. I've tested the deck. I've tested against the deck. I've been testing the deck since before it was even topping tournaments. And I would feel like I was lying to you guys if I said I thought the deck was good. It's like a fine combo deck. I'd put it like in the same category as like, it's not as good as Gigavice. It's probably like worse than Gigavice. It's probably worse than, I don't know if it's worse than Dragon Turbo, but it has less results than Dragon Turbo. But Dragon Turbo's been around a little bit longer. I don't know. When you play bad players, it looks awful. When you face the best, it feels insane. It feels the same no matter how good your opponent is if you have interaction. That deck just doesn't like interaction, and it has to see its combo every game. If it doesn't see the combo, that's tough, buddy. And if it gets interacted with, that's tough, buddy. It's very linear. Like, once you start doing the thing, you have a lot of things you can do. The deck is still degen as fuck. I could see that. I could totally see that. There are a lot of decks where it's like, this deck's biggest problem is probably representation. But Frog Combo is definitely not one of them. A lot of people have played it, and a lot of people have come up short. I don't factor in anything on the DB ladder, because some of the best players that I know don't play on DB. Like, straight up. You just like playing against it. It's very binary, where it's like, oh, did you interact with them? Yes. Okay, they lose. Did you not interact with them? Okay, I guess they win. It's like any other OTK combo deck. It's like playing against Dark Gaia. It's miserable to play and face. That's like very subjective. It's very, very subjective. Frog Combo, Gigavice, and D Turbo are just solitary. Maybe. Kinda? I don't know. I think they're all combo decks, for sure. And they're all weak to certain things that are commonly played, namely Royal Oppression. I'll hop into the Spellcaster deck. Seems like it would be a decent lockdown deck. It is not resilient enough into a lot of matchups. But these OTK decks don't see a lot of play. That's the thing. The Frog Combo deck, the Gigavice, and the Dragon Turbo deck, when totaled, maybe make up 1 to 3% of the metagame. If you don't open combo, can you out the 2xD plus flip-flop? Why wait for cards to kill you? Oh, you mean like if they open Substitute but not Fishborg? Yeah, that's right. They have to open both. That's right. Happy they've fallen off in the last few months. I think a large part of the reason they've fallen off, and this is like kind of weird, is just people are playing Water Art and Deck Dev like at very high counts. Main decked. And that changes the paradigm. Because like when you introduce Water Art in like a matchup that's normally favorable, like, oh, let's say I have Water Art and I'm going up against Gigavice with Frogs, all of a sudden, like, you have a game against a deck that would normally steamroll you. And the same thing is true for Deck Dev, but just like on a much higher scale. Like that, and then I think people are playing more like interaction that can just hit anything, namely like Horn of Heaven and Green Gadgets. All of a sudden they have 3 Solemn Judgments. That makes it very difficult. You can't like Lone Fire priority. You can't Substitute priority. You know what I mean? You just get full stopped, and then they attack you, and then you get full stopped one more time, and that's the game. Or Gladiator Beasts, they have Chariot, they have Secutor, so they can set up Heraclinos. Or like if you're playing against Valhalla Fairies, they can just put out a Christia turn 1, or they can Herald of Orange Light you. The interaction has gotten more tuned to deal with unfair stuff inherently, because that type of interaction is very strong. And I think as a result, it makes it way harder. Frog Combo used to be able to rely on the Hero Frog matchup, but now you're seeing Dyna Vanity's Needle Sealing, Water Art, and lists. Yeah, exactly. It's like, and this is exactly what I was talking about when I was like, oh, when I bring a deck to a tournament, the most resilient decks feel like Blackwings and Valhalla Fairy, because those are the decks that people can't just side 4 cards for and just end you. You know what I mean? Like, if they draw one of them, you know, like those are the matchups where it's like I have game in everything as long as I'm playing well. And then there are some decks that feel similarly but like weaker, and that's going to be like Hero Frog, Plants, and Value Turbo. They feel that way, but then I feel like they can deliver. These decks in particular can deliver unplayable draws a little bit more frequently than Valhalla Fairy and Blackwings can. And then there's like another tier lower, which is like Lightsworn and Glads. But then I feel like Machine of Gadgets is weird because it's I haven't tested it enough, but I think it's pretty fucking strong. Your boy should be watching this. He's planning to take Valhalla to Denver. Good luck to your boy. I hope he does well. You like Value having more extension? Yeah, that's why I was playing. That's why I was mostly playing Hybrid Blackwings when testing for Legacy Duelist Series, because it means I get to play Burial, and it means I get to play fucking Return, which is like obviously 2 of the best cards in the format. Like, why am I nerfing myself not playing them? What's up, Anthony? How you doing? I'm crazy busy, but we're here for the Tailgate stream. Blackwing suffers really hard from a single interruption. That's why Hybrid Blackwings feels really good. Machine of Gadget with or without Solidarity? With Solidarity. With Solidarity. You gotta apply the pressure. Okay. Scrap this. Do you guys want to have a conversation of a concept that I've been thinking about in Yu-Gi-Oh for a while? You see hedge guard top? Probably not. I'm gonna end up leaving 87 cents in your bank account. I'm sorry. You heard the conversion of Blackwing at MWEC was really poor. Isolated instance, Blackwing still converts very well at every tournament. You haven't found a list for hybrid that you love? You've been testing so many variations. I can pull one up, but I want to talk about a new concept first. New concept. Okay. So, new concept. Also, like, you have to understand conversion rates is the more people play a deck, the worse the conversion rates get just by default. Like, if there's 2 people playing the deck and one of them tops, that's 50%. But if 30 people are playing the deck, 15 of them can't top 8. So they can never have the same conversion rate as the deck that has 2 people playing it and one of them tops. Does that make sense? Conversion rates are a flawed statistic in the way people look at them. You can look at them a certain way where it's like, okay, 20 people played this deck and 0 of them topped. That's a good indicator, but they have to be really extreme. Like, it has to be really extreme, and it has to be really extreme over a long period of time. So, for example, like, let's say you look at Hero Beat, right? Offering price is a 100% conversion rate in 4 events this year, I heard. Exactly. There you go. Tim with 100% conversion rate. Guaranteed top if you play Sphere of Chaos. Buy your Sphere of Chaoses today, Kappa. No, but like the point I'm getting at here is like, if you think about conversion rate too much, what you should be thinking about is the correlation between popularity and conversion rate as well. But generally speaking, conversion rate is not a great metric of like actual success. Because it's like inherently flawed if you just look at the raw data. You have to know how to interpret the data, basically. Okay, so there's this concept in my head where it's like, wait, hold on. There's this concept in my head where there's only 3 types of cards in Edison format. And then like combinations between those 3. And I'm not talking about monster, spell, trap. I'm not. But I'm talking about roles that a card fills. There's only 3 types of roles that a card fills. Let's pull out this one because this is like the most obvious example. So this is how I perceive the format, right? This is how I perceive the format, and like when I'm building decks, this is like something that I default to all of the time. There is pressure which is number 1, interaction, which is number 2, and then combo cards, which is number 3. I'll see you this weekend, then, man. So yeah, so pressure would be like cards that instantly apply pressure. And that would be cards like Titanial, or cards like Bore the Spear, or in some cases, cards like Future Fusion. Like where it doesn't necessarily mean that you're attacking with the card, but it applies pressure. It puts your opponent in a situation where they have to act. It's applying pressure. Then there's interaction, which helps you engage with your opponent and engage with their pressure. And then there are combo cards, which try to help you go over the top and just end the game. It's like you supersede pressure with combo cards. Now there's combinations of these too. Like for example, Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon is pressure and it's also interaction. So Stardust Dragon kind of fits both, right? What's up, Rana fan? How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm very, very burning the candle, but I'm doing all right. We're gonna have a great weekend this weekend. So like, Stardust Dragon can apply pressure because it obviously attacks, and it's interaction because it can engage with your opponent's destruction effects. Similar cards would be like Titanial, whatever. Dark Arm Dragon. Dark Arm Dragon is pressure and it's interaction. It's both, right? So the best cards in the format are usually both pressure and interaction. They do both. Those are usually the best cards in the format. The interaction has to be meaningful and the pressure has to line up well. So like, for example, Honest is interaction and pressure. It's 2 for 1. It fills 2 roles. This is just a concept I've been thinking about a lot. And then there are cards like Icarus Attack, which is both a combo card and an interaction card. Oh, hell yeah. I'm excited to see you guys there. So yeah. So like there's overlap between these three, but these are the only 3 types of cards in Edison format. Or I should say the only 3 types of roles in Edison format. Do I think Gladiator Beasts are a top 5 deck? No, I don't. They're probably a top 10 or top 15 deck. I would say probably top 15, but they're not a top 5. But this is a concept I've been thinking about a lot. So like if you look at the last, where is that deck? If you look at the last deck that I posted, pressure would be Sopal. Freed is interaction plus pressure. Honest is interaction plus pressure. DD Warrior Lady is interaction plus pressure. So 7 of these cards are interaction plus pressure. Lila is interaction and pressure. Raikou is just interaction. I would not say Raikou is pressure. Jane is just pressure. Gareth is pressure. Lumina kind of fills combo role. And then Card Trooper is pressure. Cyber Dragon is pressure. Plague is combo role, right? You can sort of evaluate what these cards do. But then some of them also double as combo role, like Soul of Purity and Light plus DDR, for example, or Soul of Purity and Light plus Return, for example, is combo plus pressure. Does that make sense? Like, and that's the way I evaluate the cards that go into my deck. Does this contribute to the combo, or does it contribute to the pressure, or does it interact with my opponent in a way that is meaningful? That's pretty much it. Solar Recharge, this is a combo card. Charge the Light Brigade, this is pressure. Rhoda, this is pressure. Plus interaction, because Rhoda can get DD Warrior Lady or Freed. And Charge the Light Brigade can get Lila, so it's technically interaction or pressure. It's a modal card. But this is the way I evaluate things. And if something is suffering in my deck, like let's say my deck is having trouble pressuring the opponent into acting, I'm losing to like their openers or whatever, then I need to increase the pressure valve on the deck. I need to turn up the amount of cards that apply pressure in the deck. Or let's say I'm losing to nonlinear combo or linear combos or even nonlinear combos. Maybe I need to turn up the amount of interaction in my deck. Maybe I'm getting OTK too much, then I need to turn up the interaction. Or maybe I'm losing because I'm drawing too many cards that don't do anything on their own, like DDR or Phoenix Blade, which are combo cards. So I need to decrease the amount of combo cards in my deck, or I need to increase the amount of corresponding combo pieces in my deck, or ways to search it. basically, or set it up. So that's like the way I approach deck building, and I think this concept holds true across all of Edison format. What about Guardian of Order in this? The original list had it. The original list had Guardian of Order, the Creator, and Christia, and it played trade-ins. This is a smaller list. I built this list for my local meta, but the original list did have 2 Guardian of Order. I should push in a Big Warrior for Blade. Yeah, you could play Guardian of Order in this specific list as well. You could play it. It wouldn't be the craziest thing. Cooked up any dragon lists lately? Just Norlaris, I think. I think I just have been working on Norlaris. I haven't been working on like Drago dragons in a minute, but I was working on Norlaris for a while because I'm competing, so I have to build something crazy. But that's just like a deck building thing. What was it? There was a question back here that someone wanted to see a deck. Oh, hybrid Blackwings. All right, let's no, don't save. Let me just log in real quick. Okay. Oh, is this our earlier version? I think this is our earlier version of the list that also had JD. I played this on the channel before too, but I found myself wanting more hidden armories and less of like the bricky stuff, because it was like breaking a lot. I had too many combo cards basically and not enough pressure, so I decreased the combo cards and increased the pressure. It's possible I overdid it. It's possible you still want something like JD. By the sounds of your keys, you know my password. That's funny. I watched a video about that the other day, about an AI that could use machine learning if you typed into it enough to tell what you were typing, which is crazy. But you have to give it a large enough sample size. No, I'm not that egocentric, unfortunately. Hybrid Blackwings. This is what I was playtesting. It's too many cards, but I was playtesting it. I was playtesting it the other day, and I went 9-0 in playtesting, and I was like, man, this deck is very good. But it is too many cards. I need to reduce the number of cards in the deck. Yeah. I think my approach to hybrid Blackwings is similar to my approach to dragons, which is like red Drago twice. But you have a more consistent 4K because you have Graph or Sirocco, and then you have other ways to get to 4K. Like burst ways or whatever. So yeah, I think my approach to this deck is a little different than most people's. And it's understandable if people don't play the same text that I do. I don't even know if my sideboard is right. My sideboard might be wrong. Yeah, I don't think I was siding Raikou. That's what I remember. I know for sure Fissure was in my side. Fissure and Oppression. And then I knew for sure I was siding West for the Mirror. These 5 cards for sure are on my side, but the rest I'm not really sold on. I don't know how to fit it all into 40 cards, everything I want to play. Because I want to play like stuff to consistently see certain things. His hand is very good. His hand is ridiculously good. He'd side oppression. I wouldn't. I always main one. I think part of the reason you want to play hybrid Blackwings is because oppression is good. Yeah, this hand is good too. Why the econ? Because it's fucking insane. It's just brain control too in this deck. Like, let's say you go normal value, special Bora, econ, sack the value, take their guy. That all of a sudden you have an OTK. Like, value return, go from there. Value burial, go from there. You need very little for econ to be busted in this deck. This hand is good. This hand is very good, actually. What's the next card? Value? Ooh, that's not good. Clue's okay, though. Thoughts on Book of Moon? I like econ better in hybrid Blackwings. Recently went back to DD Warrior Lady Dragons. That deck is good. Yeah, I'm a big compulsory fan in hybrid Blackwings. Because you have way more extension. So compulsory on your own guy is like fine. This hand's alright. It's not bad. That's a pretty good hand. I think I need to get it down to 40 cards though. That's the problem. Is like there's a little bit of a disparity in like the different types of draws I'm getting. Did you say best deck right now? What do you think? Are you asking me for 74? Because I've been talking about that for the last hour. I think the two best decks right now are Valhalla Fairy and probably hybrid Blackwings or Blackwings. I think those are the two best right now. But it's slim margins. Value Turbo is good. Hero Frog is good. And Plants are good. And some decks are better for certain people than other decks. This hand's fucking insane. You just joined? Okay, yeah. Yeah, so this is the deck I was testing for Legacy Duelist Series, but I don't know if I'm going to play it or not. Maybe I cut a Compulse. I just really like Compulse in this deck. Dude, Compulse Dad is so fucking stupid. You just special Dad, priority pop. They chain bottomless, you chain Compulse, bounce your Dad, respecial it. It's so dumb, dude. It's so dumb in this deck. What does your hybrid list look like? Leon, did you just join? This is what I was testing the other day. This is the list I was testing. But I need to get it down to like 40 cards, basically. Run it back with zombies? I might. My side deck is way off base. It's way off base. This probably shouldn't be there. Icarus might not even. Probably. Y3 Bora? I don't know. It's good. I like the card. I just think it's very good. The way I play the deck is like normal guy, special guy, set compulsory. And then I win in 2 turns. So I'm just trying to like apply a shit ton of pressure. And Bora is really good at that. And Blizzard's the best top deck, so you gotta play 3 of that. And then you gotta play 3 Sirocco, 3 Vayu because they work with Grapher. And you gotta play 4 Grapher because it's fucking insane. And it's also a special summon. The cards I was thinking about cutting was like Gorge, 1 compulsory, and then I wasn't sure on the last one. Or last 2. But like Gorge and third compulsory are always like, oh sure. 3 Blizzard always, yeah, I feel like it's just fucking crazy, right? Good luck, the man. See you this weekend. Have a safe flight as well. Bora probably? Hell no. This card's great. I don't want to cut my Blackwing monsters. The monsters are the best part of the deck. When you lose to Blackwings, it's not because they set 5. It's because they summon 5. Usually. Didn't you say you want to go over 40? Yeah, I don't want to go over 40. I definitely want to play 40 if possible. Allure works too well with Return and Burial. Econ is cute, but it might end up being the cut. And then one deck dev might end up being the cut. I'm not sure. Could be the Trap Stun too. Who knows? But I think Trap Stun's just fucking crazy. It's just Heavy Storm 2.0. 2 Grepher, 2 Value. Fuck no. I don't want to cut the monsters. The monsters are so good. I never want to cut the monsters. Saw Blackwing with Malicious and Plague. Sounds good. Impression inside? Nah, you gotta main it. You just need turn skips, bro. You just need turn skips and hand rips. That's all you need. Turn skips, hand rips, and pressure. That's all you need. One of my buddies plays Swallow's Nest in this deck, and he says it's really good. He says it's really good in specifically hybrid Blackwings, and I could see that as well. So this might be something I try in the future as well. Might be a side deck option or something like that. Interaction between Whirlwind and Blizzard is amazing. In this deck, it's amazing because you have 3 values and you want to search them for Grepher. Swallows in a barrier statue. I could see that. That'd be crazy. Yeah, it's probably like cut Gores, cut compulsory. This is probably closer to what I want, and then you could just test hand from here and see which one works the list. Okay, let's see. You're gonna playing Blackwing and Value. Dude, Oppression is good against those decks. How do they beat you if they can't special summon? If I put up a board and they need to special summon, they need to use their Blizzard, or they need to make Bionic, or they need to flip Hamster, or they need to activate Return, or they need to use Plague, or they need to use Chaos Sorcerer. You just force them to need those cards, and then you're good. Cut 1 Bora, 1 Colossus, 1 Gores? Hell no! I'm not cutting Bora. The card is too good. Imagine this hand with a Bora. It'd be so insane. Bora is so good. Sounds awkward. It needs Grepher. No! There he is. This hand is great. This hand is so good. What the fuck, man? This deck just doesn't miss. Oh my god. Look at this. Look at this. This is disgusting. This hand is gross. Yeah, Gores is probably good. Gores got cut. I'm not really a big Gores enjoyer. Whoever told me to cut the Bora, imagine this hand without a Bora. It'd still be fine, but it wouldn't be nearly as good, right? Oh man, this hand is cracked. This hand is fucking crazy. This hand's nuts. Okay, let's say the Bora was cut. What's the next card deep? That's pretty good too, but it's not as good as Whirlwind with the Return and Blizzard follow-up. Damn, bro. What the fuck? This deck is ridiculous. It's so good. Look at this. I've got Royal Oppression. What do they even do? What do they even do, dude? What do they even do? Royal Oppression. Draw for turn. That's crazy. This deck is crazy. Someone said Brain Caius. Alright, then I have Brain Gale enemy controller shit back. You know what I'm saying? And they have to have a one of. Good luck, have fun. This hand is worse. Double Sirocco Blizzard always going to be awkward. But maybe Mirror Force sucks. I don't love Mirror Force. Look at your comment above. What did you say? Put a Sirocco to the side. Yeah, maybe you could cut a Sirocco. But then your Greffers get worse. Because you only have 5 cards that go with Greffer instead of 6. I just really like Compulse in this deck because it's like, oh, I'm going to kill you over 2 turns. What are you going to do? And then nothing. They just lose. They just lose. Book is probably worse than just the one econ. Probably. I like enemy controller too much. Enemy controller is a tournament topping card. If you want to top tournaments, you should play enemy controller. It's so versatile and it gets you out of a lot of situations and it gives you a second brain for game shots. It probably is 3 compulsory. It's so good. I don't know, maybe Trapstone isn't necessary with all the extension. Oh, there was the second deck dub and then the chorus where I had it. This is one of those decks I'm going to have to go back to and like actually play matches with, but you guys get the idea. GBs used to play Econ, then Shrink. Now they're on Waboku and Trapstone. Interesting. You wouldn't main deck Trapstone either. What's a 3 Greffer for 3 Icarus attacks? No, I really like Greffer. I think Greffer with Compulse is like, bro. Like your opponent will be like, you'll go Greffer and then you'll summon your Armed Wing, and your opponent will be like, all right, normal my guy, try to kill your Greffer. You Compulse it, and then you just win the game. Trapstone is broken. I think Trapstone is really good. It's kind of like second Heavy Storm. Anyway, that's the deck I was testing a lot of for Legacy Duelist Series. I may or may not play it. Probably not, just because I don't know, but I figured it was worth talking about because someone mentioned it. RBT Denver Tailgate. There we go. So, what's winning RBT Denver? I think Smashing Ground is underrated. That's part of the reason why Gadgets is so good, because it plays Smashing Ground. You main Smashing in Hybrid Blackwings? Or in Glads? I lost to a Blackwing deck that was maining 2 Smashing recently. And I was like, bro. It was really good. He was main decking 2 Smashing, 2 Dust Tornadoes, 0 Icarus. And I was like, fuck. I played around Icarus by like setting 1 and he just went End-Phase Dust. And I would like summon one guy and he'd be like, alright, Smashing Ground your guy. And I was just like, dude, I can't accomplish anything. Yeah, I think he killed my Titanium or something like that. And I was just like, bro. The Dimitri theory. I think the Dimitri theory is right until you need Icarus for a matchup. Because there are some matchups where you need Icarus, and it's primarily the mirror. But ever since I started playing draw traps, it makes it worse. So it's kind of like... That's so funny. That sounds hype, Skug. With 3 smashing, 1 fissure for the memes, but it's kind of nice. People don't know this, but smashing ground was limited prior to Edison, I believe. I'm not sure how much further before. So this is March 2010. Yeah, it was limited to 1. The format before Edison. Which, to put into perspective, it was alongside cards like... Oh, this is OCG. Sorry, we need TCG. There we go. I was like, Bionic wasn't limited. It was limited alongside cards like... United We Stand. Powerhouse cards like... Ojama Trio. Was that Lightstorm format? Yeah. This was Lightstorm format. Bionic was at 3 in Lightstorm format. And by Lightstorm format, I mean zombie format, because Mizuki was at 2. And Foolish was at 2. And Allure was at 2. So zombies were just insane. They were so good. Oh, man. But Charge was at 3. So you could play some crazy shit. And Necro Gardener was also at 3. And Tragodio was also at 3. And Bionic was also at 3. Wasn't Roland at 3? Yes. Whirlwind was also at 3. Lumino was at 3. Yeah, the format right before Edison is like... It's just nuts. It's like a ridiculous power level. The big one, though, is triple Bionic, double Mizuki, though. That's like the... Because zombies can just kill you from anything through anything. Unless you have, like, multiple Necros and a Tragodia. Malicious was at 2. But the zombie deck was very good. I remember it winning a lot. What's interesting is OCG actually had Bionic with Premature Burial. So their zombies was even crazier because Premature Burial doesn't pop the monster when you bounce it. So they could just infinite Monster Reborn their board as long as they had life points. It's fucking ridiculous. Premature Burial with Bionic is just such a stupid combination of cards. And you could search Premature Burial with Hidden Armory. So they could just like turn 1, do the most degenerate shit you could imagine. That format is ridiculous. But that was an OCG format. Card of Safe Return, that was earlier. That was Teledad format you're thinking of. You felt like all you played against at SJC LA was Lightsworn and Twilight with zombies? Yeah, it was like that. And what's crazy is X-Saber topped that event with main deck Kaiku and main deck My Body as a Shield. He was main decking 2 Kaiku, 2 My Body as a Shield. It's like counter Lightsworns. Isn't that nuts? That's nuts. That event was crazy. What a crazy format. Recharge escaping the list was kind of wild. Hot take. Actually, no, that's too hot of a take. I was going to say recharge is better, but it's not. I think charge is better. Charge probably better. Very slightly. X-Sabers are missing Dark Soul. They're missing a lot. Yeah, they're missing Boggart Knight, Dark Soul, and Pashul are like the 3 main ones, but there are some other cards that it's missing. This is not Edison. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. So it's missing Pashul, Boggart Knight, and Dark Soul are the big 3. There's also missing Wayne. And this fucking guy. Gravekeeper is missing Duality and Recruiter, and most importantly, Solemn Warning. Recharge is very broken, yeah. The charge is also crazy in its own right. Pashul would be ridiculous in Edison format. I think about how busted these cards are. Like, in comparison to the cards that were in the format before it, like, this card is fucking ridiculous. So, this weekend, I'm going to cast my vote. I think Machina is going to win RBT Denver. I think Machina is going to win. I think it's well positioned. I think Machina Gadget does a really good job into a lot of the meta decks right now. I think Horn of Heaven is a great update to the deck, great modern way to approach the deck. And I think the deck can just have a good weekend. And it's been doing well all year. It's only a matter of time before someone just takes it all away. So I'm going to place my cards that Machina will win one of the days this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. That's going to be my prediction. What are you guys predicting is going to win RBT Denver? Just the most wrong prediction is Machina. It's a hot take. Machina Gadget is good. Why? Yeah. I know I will be wrong, but I'm going to predict it, because if I get it right, then I'll look like a god. But it is a very, very speculative prediction. I'm not going to say it's the favorite. Vayu needs to see deck dev to beat Machina Gadget. Yeah, usually if they don't see deck dev, it's a very difficult matchup. Pulling the rug does help a lot, though. Dark Gaia. Oh, fuck. I forgot I was supposed to talk about the Dark Gaia thing. So, apparently there's like new evidence that this guy isn't mandatory in Edison format. And a lot of people who like handle the rulings for Edison format are saying that it's like legit. That this card is no longer going to be ruled as mandatory. And I was supposed to make a formal announcement on it this weekend, or this week, and I forgot, because I've been busy. And I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh guy, and it's Yu-Gi-Oh. I forgot that I was supposed to do this. Oops, my bad. So I guess it's making it into this like random live stream. But yeah, the thing about it is there was a guy who found a forum post that was made by one of the judges at SJC Edison, where he talked about how Dark Gaia was not mandatory in the Game Boy Advance game, and that's how they were going to rule it at Edison. Supposedly. I guess. So, Dark Gaia gets a huge boost. It is no longer a mandatory activation. There we go. You're welcome. Feel free to experiment. But yeah, the big reason why that matters is because now you can summon Doom Caliber Knight next to it. And then just not activate the effect. Thank God RBT aren't using that new time ruling. Right? I kind of like it. Because I'm psychotic. But I understand it is really bad. It is a really bad time ruling. It's like, dude, it's like really, really silly. But I like it. From a fun, chaotic standpoint, I like the ruling personally, but I would never implement it because, dude, it is not a very fun ruling, you know? You don't play Modern, but you like it. Yeah, I like it too. But I'm not going to ever implement it because people really don't like it. And that's totally valid. I think the community has valid points as to why it sucks. But I think it's hilarious. And I think from a commentary standpoint, it would be really funny. Like, I want to watch someone get a double loss and be commentating that match. That would be fucking hilarious. Osaka says, will it apply to Time Wizard events? I was under the impression they're not doing Time Wizard events. I'm not winning. We're not winning. Yeah, exactly. What do you guys think of it? What do you guys think of this ruling? For modern Yu-Gi-Oh, it's hilarious because it doesn't affect us usually. Most of us don't play modern Yu-Gi-Oh. I actually ran a poll on my audience, and it turns out about 95% of you not only won't play modern Yu-Gi-Oh, but you either quit modern Yu-Gi-Oh to play Edison, or you will never play modern Yu-Gi-Oh because of Edison. So the majority of the people here this doesn't affect us. Removing top 16 and stuff kind of sucks. Okay, so that's actually not necessarily that big of a deal because they added 3 extra rounds. So it's kind of the same, but it means that more people get to play for longer. And I think removing the less single elimination rounds is always better in my opinion. Like more rounds where people get to compete where everyone gets to compete is good. So I kind of like that change too. I've always liked doing top 8. Like even for the online tournaments, I always only cut to top 8. So I would like to do it in person, but I think people would get mad. So we cut to top 16. There are a couple changes that I don't do because I know a lot of people would get mad, but there are things that I would personally enjoy. Like I think the double loss thing is fucking awesome. Bad for locals, fine for events. It's got to be bad everywhere, right? Like, it's got to be bad. Like, you're going to face one asshole who you just, you cheese him with the nuts, and he's just like, all right, I'm going to keep playing this out. And stall you into time. And just starts playing slowly as fuck. Like, that's going to happen, right? Eventually it's going to happen. I mean, it's already happened. I've seen Twitter posts of it happening. You don't like end of phase? Double loss on time is moronic. End of phase is just so the tournament can end on a reasonable time. End of phase I prefer. Just from a tournament organization standpoint, end of phase is the best way to do it. It's the best way to do it. Just finish your matches. Always finish your matches. End of phase is the best way to do it. It's the best way from a tournament organization standpoint. If you're going to... End of turn is not a good compromise. It's bad. It's always end of phase. End of phase is good, actually. If you're organizing a tournament and you want to pick time rules that work best for you, you will always pick end of phase. Otherwise, everyone is working at least 4 to 8 hours overtime on the tournament, and the tournament is running way longer than it needs to. And it makes it impossible to... End of phase, sorry, you can't battle attack for game. More like you should have just played faster. I have never gone into time. I don't understand how people go into time. And I play very methodical decks. Will you ever get another online RBET? Maybe if you ask really nicely or become a member, you will get one. But with that kind of tone, I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for me to pull it off with that kind of tone, TCG Master. He'll ask so fucking nicely. Tim is a big proponent for online RBTs. We may need to do one before the end of the year. I usually do a charity one around Christmas. So most likely we'll do that there. But it all depends. Can you remember that years ago, RBT taking literal years with frogs? Years ago, that guy goes to almost every RBT, and he does take literal years. But yes. What's your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh video game? The PlayStation 1 one. I don't remember what it's called, but it's for PlayStation 1. I had it when I was a kid. I don't remember it, but I just had it when I was a kid, so it's probably my favorite. I had a Game Boy Advance one too. I remember. You passed out watching it? I passed out watching it. Do you guys want to know a funny story? I have fallen asleep doing commentary for RBET before in top 8. I've fallen asleep, woken up, and been like, oh shit. I'm commentating. I fell asleep one time for like, I think it was like 15 minutes in a match. I was so tired. It was like EDC weekend and like RBT was also happening and I was just so tired. And there was another commentator or another couple commentators and I just like fell asleep while they were talking. And then I woke up 15 minutes later and I was like, what did I miss? And they were like, oh, this happened. Commentating is draining, bruh. You have to be constantly on. Forbidden Memories. Is that what it's called? You never sleep the night before Yu-Gi-Oh tourneys. Do you top a lot? Because I know some people who do that and then... You still don't know how Guardian Eatos won. Oh, that deck is very good. Test Tiger's better? I don't know. I don't think it is, actually. I think Eatos is still better than Test Tiger. I still hold that opinion. I know. Crazy, right? But I still hold the opinion that the Eatos build is better into that meta that he played into. Not actually convinced Tiger is better. I also think the surprise factor is really good of Eatos. Secutor resolving is very good. I agree. The Eatos build will get you more consistent results though, which is sometimes what you need to win tournaments. I don't know. It also gets you the 2-turn clock, which I think is a really big part of Edison format. And then like, I think if you can put on the 2-turn clock with like Eatos a quest and just set a compulse, you're going to get a lot of free wins that Glads doesn't otherwise have. I think the biggest weakness with Glads is its pressure. I talked about this earlier. The pressure, interaction, etc. The biggest weakness with Glads is the pressure. Eatos increases the pressure. It turns it into an OTK deck. And Glads is fucking terrifying when it's an OTK deck. It is so much scarier to play against. Like when they can put 4,000 points of pressure in one turn, it becomes a much different game. Very much different game. He could have put D-Fissures in the Eatos build, but he didn't. Because he didn't need them. D-Fissure is interaction, but it's not necessarily pressure. Yes, they would both go to Graveyard Marco Jack because they're destroyed at the same time. I don't play D-Fissure though. I think it's bad. I think you should just play different cards. I played against D-Fissure Glads on camera in the video yesterday, and it didn't really pan out too well for the D-Fissure Haver. I won both of the games he resolved D-Fissure, and I was playing Lightsworn. I just don't think D-Fissure is that good of a card. It's a passive floodgate that doesn't impact pressure. Am I in Denver? No. Tomorrow I will be. What's up, Totagon? How you doing? Can have trouble breaking boards. Not really. You have like 30 trap cards. You'll be fine. Make Glads banish again. I could see it. You have an Inage and GD Crow. That's pretty good. Yeah, you don't really need D-Fissure. You're tired, dude. I'm so tired. This event is going to be really fun, but it's going to be a lot. And then, dude, I come back into town, and then I have to be in 5 cities next week. 5 different cities. What the fuck? In 1 week. I don't think I've ever done that in my life where I wasn't like traveling. Like I have to be in the city for an extended duration of time in each of those 5 cities. I don't know. I don't even know what this means anymore. Did we make it? Have we made it? Is that what's happening? I've got money on the phone. No, dude, I have to like get stuff for like do stuff for very work things and stuff, yeah. What do you think of Bird and the Mighty? I don't really like it, but I have lost to it before. Not in Glads, but I've lost to it. But I don't really like it. I don't think it's that good. Will you Berlin and drink the best beer? I will be in Berlin. Yes. I will go. As long as there's an RBET, I will go to it. I don't see a reason in throwing one I don't go to. It could just be a different tournament then at that point. It doesn't need to be an RBET. Epic? Dude, I'm so pumped. I need to figure it all out though. I need to plan the trip. The logistics. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Alright, gentlemen. It's been a great stream. I gotta get going. I have more work to do tonight. I have to pack still. I have one more meeting, actually 2 more meetings tonight to be prepared for RBT Denver this weekend. I'm going to be traveling most of the day tomorrow, setting up the event, and then I will be seeing you guys on stream Saturday morning with the best Edison content you'll ever see. Peace out, gentlemen. Have a good evening.